Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
If Republicans lose the midterm, will Trump be impeached once again? Can senators be impeached? Trump's memo of understanding with Iran? What do you think? Is it just nothing but hopium? Does Trump want the USMCA to go away? More consideration of the timeless principles of the Declaration of Independence? And best of all, in my humble opinion, the party is over. The founders warned us about the spirit of parties. When are we going to listen? Happy to have you along, my fellow Americans. I'm Sam Bushman, and I've got Dr. Scott Bradley with me, well known for his book, DVD lecture series, To Preserve the Nation, in the tradition of the Founding Fathers, available at freedomsrisingsun.com. You can get the book, the whole lecture series, and more. It's a whole collegiate, in my opinion, quality homeschool curriculum and more. If you want to know how to preserve the nation, if you want to understand what made the Founding Fathers tick, if you want to break down chapter by chapter of the things that matter most based on principle, you got to have it, ladies and gentlemen. To Preserve the Nation, available at freedomsrisingsun.com. You can also get your ticket to ride every Thursday night. The weekly webinars, Q&As on the Constitution and more. Dr. Bradley, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And you can get your ticket and participate in those webinars. If you don't, want to participate or you're a little shy, and you can still watch it later. Look for Freedom's Call just about everywhere. Rumble, BitChute, it's all over the place. Spread the word, share the love. freedomsrisingsun.com. Dr. Bradley, it's a freedom-loving, faith-filled. We're taking America back, one heart, one mind, one issue at a time. Friday, and welcome back, sir.
Well, good morning, Sam. I hope my audio connection is far better than yours. I've got very, very poor audio. I'm able to translate what you're saying, but I hope the listening audience has got a better connection than I do. So maybe we can have, if it's coming across poorly, maybe I'm coming across really good, but I'm getting you
sound great,
poorly,
Liz.
so.
Is on the air good, Liz? All right, then you got to marshal on, Doctor.
Okay.
It might be your internet connection. I don't know, but you're sounding great, sir.
Okay, great. Well, you just started sounding great, as usual anyway, Sam. But, well, I'm glad to be able to visit with you this morning. And, another week has gone by, and it's just astonishing to me how time travels. And
time flies when you're
passes.
having fun, sir.
I guess I've heard that saying, but I just wonder sometimes. There's so much, a plethora, shall we say, an abundance of subjects that really need discussing, and that was kind of what happened with our webinar last night, and all of them are pretty momentous subject matter, and so there's a lot on people's minds. Let's put it that way. So
there is, and that's one of the things unique about the webinars that Dr. Bradley does. We don't pick the topics. The public or the people pick the topics. They send in questions. That's why it's called Q&As on the Constitution and more, because you know what? The citizens bring up what they want to hear about, and that's very rare. Usually when you go to an event, a politician's got to speak, or some bigwig's got to speak, or some talk show host's got to babble on about their opinions and everything else. And, we think there's some place for that, but we also think there's a big place for the citizenry to be involved. Let's have a citizen-led discussion about what's on your mind, and Dr. Bradley makes that possible, and then we take that and kind of boil down the topics and the subjects and the questions and into the topics that people want to discuss, and then we bring them here and kind of mirror what's going on there a little bit to kind of extend the audience and promote what's going on, and hey, we want to listen to what you all have to say, and that's the opportunity for you to do so. freedomsrisingsun.com to participate in that, and then have it amplified on Liberty Roundtable Live next day as well. The first one, quote, Trump's memo of understanding with Iran, they say. Some is saying, hey, you know what, it's just determined hopefulness. What's really going on? Is this just hopium? Is he hoping and thinking? All I can tell you is I will start out and answer it by saying this. They've already called off the signing that was supposed to happen today. So whatever got, digitally signed before, whatever was supposed to be long-term negotiated, whatever peace deal, ceasefire negotiations, don't know what will stick that we've committed to versus what won't versus how the negotiations will go. As far as I understand, it's a 60-day plus negotiation period on top of what was already signed. We've already given up, $300 billion to kind of build or rebuild Iran. I don't know. I'm pretty critical of this thing. I don't want to be too critical of Trump because then everybody will just hate me and shut me down. And, I'll be disenfranchised everywhere from Sunday to speak my mind. So I don't dare do that anymore, Doctor. So what do you think of this memo of understanding? I'm concerned about it just because we signed it a day or two ago, and now we're already not going to meet and finish it. So we're already going to threaten each other, and we're going to say there's a ceasefire while we're, everybody's bombing everybody still. And what the heck's happening?
Well, the memo of understanding, at best, is the minimalist wish list. It was not an agreement. It is not a confirmed, hard, fast kind of thing. It's points of discussion. And the biggest, there's so much to talk about this because Israel was not a signatory on this thing. And Israel
Why would
said,
they be?
Not only no, but heck no. And Trump kind of pushed back a little bit. He kind of had a religious meeting, we're told, with Netanyahu. And the biggest, in my opinion, there's two biggest breaking points on this thing is, number one, there's a ceasefire in all fronts. That includes Lebanon, the invasion that Israel made into Lebanon, the most Christian nation in the Middle East. The leadership is Christian. The leader of the military is Christian. Yes, Hezbollah has been using it as a base of operation. But Israel has been pounding the snot out of, that's a technical term, everybody, out of southern Lebanon. They've gone into Beirut and been attacking that directly. And Israel has said it will not include that. And Iran said if it doesn't, it doesn't, and we won't either. And then the other thing, of course, is that, the Iranians, they have been dictating terms. I mean, let me ask you this,
Well, why
Sam.
wouldn't they? They've got a lot more power than we gave them credit for.
They won.
And they're backed by the communist Chinese. In fact, they've got the second largest military in the world backing them every play.
I'm, and a lot of people say, "Oh, don't say they won." Well, they won. I mean, who gets reparations and who gives reparations? Look at World War I. The Germans lost. They paid reparations to the victors. Who's paying reparations? The Middle Eastern regional countries. Who receives it? Iran. I mean, all of these things.
$300 billion is what they're saying, right?
$300 billion.
And that's just a starter.
Overemphasized that the United States taxpayer will not pay that. But the fact of the matter is that the country that's getting the money is Iran.
Hold on. What do you mean the United States taxpayers won't pay that?
Well, that's what Trump and
I know, but what does that mean? Because I don't understand that. Money doesn't come out of thin air, Doctor.
Well, here's the thing. It's supposed to come out of their neighbors in the Middle East. Okay, so Saudi Arabia.
And don't those guys get money from us?
Well, they do, but the idea is they sold us
so it's just a different piggy bank on the shelf over there. Well, we're not going to touch this piggy bank over here, but we're going to fill that piggy bank, and then we're going to take it out of a different piggy bank. And I mean, if we're giving money to the other people that are giving money to Iran, isn't that really what's happening?
Well, if that is a kind of one pocket to the other, but
can you rob Peter to pay Paul?
It's inferred that these are very wealthy countries. They got bank accounts that have been building for decades, sure. and they'll pay out of that. Now, we don't know, none of these, see here, Sam, we can sit and speculate all day long, but there is nothing in there. It's all to be determined, TBD, to be determined. There is nothing in there. And like I say, I see the biggest break point is the end of the action in Lebanon, because I do not see Israel backing off on that.
Yeah, Benjamin Netanyahu will never do that. He loves war. I mean, I don't know that he's put forth any effort for peace anywhere, anytime that I know of. Has he really, in genuineness, Doctor?
Well, the founding fathers talked about the European nations as being nations of eternal war. And I think if any terminology or description applies to the Middle East. It seems to be that.
This is it, sure.
I mean, this eternal warfare kind of thing is there and is never going to diminish, I think. I mean, I think when the Savior comes and straightens us all out, then it's going to be worked out. But here's the deal. I've said many times is that when you kick over a hornet's nest, the hornets decide when the fight is over. Iran has say now. I mean, they got kicked over.
They've got big say now, in fact. They don't just have say. They've proven they can shut down the Strait of Hormuz. The next question is, what else? So Trump threatened them big time and said, hey, if they don't get this done, we're going to rain bombs down on their heads big time. They better cooperate. And then they responded in kind. So while we're signing a peace deal, we're firing barbs at one another. When we get back, I'll tell you what the Iranians said and get your take on that, Dr. Bradley. We'll do it all. Then I want to know if we should impeach them all, okay? We'll talk about it. Liberty Roundtable Live.
Attention collectors and savvy investors. We are excited to announce a momentous evolution in our journey. Introducing Free Water Coin Company, formerly known as Rust Coin and Gift. This rebranding takes us back to the very roots of where it all began. Free Water, Oregon. It's a tribute to the legacy of Al Rust and a celebration of 3 generations of dedication to excellence in the world of coins and precious gifts. Al, Brian, and Jake Rust standing strong through 64 years of service. Discover a world of exceptional service at Free Water Coin Company, your premier destination for genuine, honest money and precious gifts. Under Brian's expert guidance, Free Water Coin Company, building on the legacy of Rust Coin and Gift, continues its tradition of trust and excellence. Visit us at our Provo, Utah location. Explore our treasures online at freewatercoinco.com or call us at 801-377-1574. Free Water Coin Company, where your future is built one honest coin at a time.
This is a battle between truth and deceit. A battle between forces that would enslave this country in darkness and between a media that wants to present you with the truth. We are being censored. America's news outlets no longer provide the truth. 90% of news outlets in the United States are controlled by 6 corporations. The mission of the Epoch Times is to chase the truth, to ground all statements in fact.
TheEpochTimes.com. All right, Donald Trump said, hey, I'm signing this peace deal. We got it going on, ceasefire peace deal. Iran's going to not have nukes. They've agreed to all that. We're all good. But if they don't, we're going to just bomb. We're going to just drop bombs on their heads like they've never seen before. Well, Iran didn't take it sitting down. They responded in kind and said, you ain't seen nothing yet, baby. And I don't have the exact words in front of me from either of them, but that's really the summary of kind of the conversation there. And, I don't think that we realized how much they could shut down the Strait of Hormuz. I don't think Donald and company realized that. Or if they did, I don't know why they would have done what they did. But nevertheless, Iran's saying you ain't seen nothing yet. And when Iran's backed by the biggest military in the world, not counting the United States, China, you really wonder, what do they have up their sleeves they can do? They surprised us, I think, with a lot of their teeny drones and a lot of teeny attack boats coming in swarms. I don't think they were able to take us out over it like they had hoped, but they were certainly able to demonstrate to the world that it's something to be reckoned with, and it's more than we thought it was. And what they really have and don't have, we don't really know. And that China's backing them. On one hand, China says, hey, we got to stop this fighting. On the other hand, China wants the oil, big time. And China's got a relationship with Iran, and I don't know that that's really been impeded. I think through the back channels, that's continuing. And so, Doctor, I bring all that up to say, are we going to see the next level here, or are we going to basically back away? What do you think?
Well, I hope that peace can be reached, but I don't believe that this is as a hard and fast and done deal as the administration. The question actually came to me. I'll read you. For about the 40th time now, President Trump has promised us that peace is breaking out all over the Middle East. What do you think this time? I mean, a lot of people are pretty jaded. I mean, I have one comment, Doctor. Wars, and rumors of wars. I mean, that's predicted scripturally speaking, and I don't think that's going to change. Well, and the thing is that I can't imagine how many times they've done tabletop exercises, in the War Department or all of the different little enclaves of how we look at this thing. And I cannot believe that there was not more preeminence given to the Strait of Hormuz. That was the checkmate piece. If you talk about anybody being a...
Well, you want to know why it wasn't brought up in a key point, besides saying it's going to be opened, we hope, is because they know full well that we don't control it and we don't have any leverage there. So one of the negotiating tactics is you don't focus where you have no leverage, right?
Well, that's right. And the fact of the matter is, this was never seemed to even have crossed the administration's mind as they pulled the trigger on the 28th of February. I mean, this thing, and now the MOU, the Memo of Understanding, indicates that the straits are going to be opened up. The United States will back off its blockade and there'll be free exchange. Of course, there's time to, basically clean out the mines and stuff like that. But if in fact everybody walks away from this thing because Israel decided they're going to keep bombing the snot out of Lebanon, a sovereign country. I mean, think about this for a minute, Sam. Russia, Putin, invades a sovereign country, Ukraine. The whole world is up in arms about this. How dare he do that? Lebanon gets invaded, a sovereign country.
I don't think we should back the Ukraine and be involved in that. But I do get that everybody should be incensed about that, right?
Well, but why aren't they incensed about what's happening in the most Christian nation in the Middle East?
Because it's been. Because if you say anything, you're an anti-Semite. Because they've got you framed in such a way that you're the bigoted, hate-filled thug if you possibly stand up and count, right?
Well, there's been an unwillingness then to discuss the realities of life.
Of course.
And this shows the fallacy of what we're being sold. Now, the United States could pull a plug on Israel and say, you know what, baby, you're on your own. We're no more aid, no more military armaments, anything else like that. You continue this war, you're going to be wrestling in the dust yourself.
But you got to wonder what Israel has in terms of control, too. We talked about Iran, and they have a lot of things we may not realize they have, and they have a lot more mojo than we thought they did, and they're flexing their muscle, and they're basically winning, and the victors are winning, and the losers are paying as we're doing, right? But you got to wonder what Israel has, too, and you say, well, they don't have a lot of military might without us. No, but they have everybody compromised, and they have leverage through the whole halls of Congress, through the president. They've got everybody leveraged, and how far and how people are compromised and how people are blackmailed. And, we don't know what their leverage is there. But I'm telling you right now, it'll take down the whole government if we're not careful, right?
Well, they have nukes. They have that ultimate trigger pull. But you're absolutely correct. I think that their lobby has effectively neutered, and that's a nice way to say this, any opposition that might be in the House and the Senate and the president. The president's probably the most beholden of all because he got over $250 million to his election campaign from the Israeli lobby. And so here we have a nation, the United States, 330 million people.
And we took out Massey with that same big dollar-rich lobby, right?
And they did, absolutely. And so here's the deal. This nation is being led around by the nose by a much smaller a nation about the size of New Jersey with about 9 million, a little over 9 million people. And Sam, this is completely upside down and backwards. And I'm not saying empire should be the idea of the Americans, but Washington absolutely addressed this. And I could take 5 minutes and tell everybody exactly what Washington said about the scenario. Say again?
Go, you got it. Do it.
Oh, well, let me get some documentation.
Okay, because people need to understand that this isn't one of the things we have in America, this false idea that the founders just were clueless and bumbling, kind of country bumpkins, didn't have a clue. And no, they foresaw all this. They tried to keep us out of all this. They tried to keep the factions out of America's politics in terms of parties. And they warned us against internal conflict like this, and they warned us externally as well. They were fully aware of all this, Doctor.
There's no question. They pled with us. George Washington's farewell address, depending on what the font is, it's 8 to 12, maybe 14 pages if it's a big font. But the fact of the matter is that they talked at length about this idea of being a slave because of your affection or anonymity to either side or another country. I mean, we are being led around, and this spirit is going about us. I mean, and people like you and me, I mean, he actually goes on to say that real patriots who may resist the intrigues of the favorite are liable to become suspected and odious, while its tools and dupes usurp the applause and confidence of the people to surrender their interests. I look at the quote-unquote big names that are, I mean, they're big networks, and they're also people with a big footprint on those networks and in some independent networks. These people are the favorites that are touting constantly the cause of Israel. And the founding fathers, well, let me just give you a passionate attachment of one nation for another produces a variety of evils. Sympathy for the favorite nation, facilitating the illusion of an imaginary common interest in cases where no real common interest exists, leads also to concessions to the favorite nation of privileges denied to others, which is apt doubly to injure the nation making the concessions. We're doing all the concessions. We went to war at their behest, for crying out loud, by unnecessarily parting with what.
Well, and the problem is we went to war really at Israel's behest.
That's
people
right.
can claim that's not the truth, but the more we dig in, the more that is the truth.
Unquestionably, and in fact, I heard Marco Rubio's statement. I mean, he was wired to the max with his caffeine, it sounded like to me. He couldn't stop yapping. And in essence, he said, Israel said, we're going, are you with us or not? And he could have said, the heck you say, we're not going in this way. And if you do it, we are not supporting it. And then the next phone call could have been made to Iran and said, if you get attacked, we are not in this battle.
You'll just get fired as a congressman or a senator. They'll put enough money in and partner with the right people in America that they have compromised, and you're done. Ask Thomas Massey if you don't believe me.
It gives to ambitious,
I mean, the people backed Thomas Massey virtually 100%, but the big dollars took him out nevertheless. It was flat-out election fraud, in my opinion.
Oh, there's no question. I mean, the Israeli lobby bought another seat in Congress is what they did. And it's interesting to me, guys like Ted Cruz admit that they are in the United States Senate on behalf of Israel. I mean, he's the only Cuban born in Canada that was elected to the United States Senate out of Texas who is there as a representative to Israel. Yeah, and it's by his own admission. Okay, so this idea, exciting jealousy, ill will, a disposition to retaliate in the parties from whom equal privileges are withheld, it gives to ambitious, corrupted, or deluded citizens who devote themselves to the favorite nation facility to betray or sacrifice the interests of their own country without odium, sometimes even with popularity. I mean, this goes on for pages. I mean, I mentioned the length of George Washington's farewell address.
Well, it was 6,000 words approximately, Doctor.
A very high percentage of it is actually focused on exactly what's happening. He talks about the arts of seduction and misleading public opinion. You know, you get the big talking heads on some of these big news media deals. They influence or awe the public councils. Okay, to attachment of a small to a weak toward a great and powerful nation dooms the former, that's us, to be the satellite of the latter. And I mean, I guess we got to stop for another break, but it goes on.
Yeah, you took 5 minutes, man.
Huh?
You took 5 minutes.
I did, and I could go on and on. It is absolutely absurd what is happening.
Bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, the founders knew this. They warned against it, and we're not heeding their warning. Thanks for being alongside for the ride. Next episode, I want to talk about, can senators be impeached? When they lose the midterms, or if they do, will Donald be impeached once again? We'll talk about it next episode. I'm Sam Bushman, freedomsrisingsun.com for Dr. Scott Bradley. My website, libertyroundtable.com, libertynewsradio.com. We're available on Twitter, X, Truth Social, YouTube, everywhere. God save our republic.